Welcome to Pressure Points. I'm Gene Munster, and our topic today is Microsoft's Ignite AI Developer Day. We had the keynote that was, of course, came from Satya Nadella. And before I get into the pressure point, I want to talk just highest level about what's going on. This keynote had a lot of layers to it, many announcements. I think most of it was developer talk, pretty geeky, focused on the most hardcore AI integration people. And I think that the significance of what Microsoft is doing can get lost amidst all these little announcements. And what they're doing is making it easier to build GPTs and AI functionality into their core products, whether it's Office, Azure, or Teams. And so, score one for Microsoft, winning developers over, talking about why this revolution is happening today, and giving a lot of incremental pieces to how these developers can ride that wave. So that's kind of the highest level, but that was not the pressure point. The pressure point, the piece that stood out most today, was related to announcements that Microsoft is doing in silicon. And Satya discussed this idea of silicon diversity, and specifically as Microsoft is going to be building their own CPUs. Now, all the other big hyperscalers like Google and Amazon are also building their own CPUs and potentially GPUs. And this, of course, begs the question of why is Microsoft doing this? What does this mean for NVIDIA and AMD? And the reason why they're doing this is hardware is really important when it comes to training and inference in AI. And we've seen what's happened in NVIDIA's business over the past 9 months. And there is this competition for access to these compute platforms or the hardware like NVIDIA. And so playing it forward is Microsoft, and along with the other big companies, want to diversify. And so they're doing their own CPUs, still going to be purchasing GPUs from NVIDIA. One of the surprises related to this was they announced other partnerships, and CEO of and founder of NVIDIA joined Satya on screen or on stage, and they discussed how this partnership is getting deeper and deeper. The reality is this is a similar moment to back when Apple in like 2005 announced the Rocker integration, where they were putting iTunes on a Motorola Rocker phone, and this great relationship that they're going to be doing with Motorola, where in reality Apple is moving in a whole different direction. I think Microsoft, along with the other big companies, want to have some insurance against getting beholden to NVIDIA. And so I suspect that that is going to be a theme that we're going to be hearing more chip development, silicon development from Microsoft and the others. So the pressure point really here was Microsoft wanting silicon dependency. Why that's important is that it's good for margins longer term, because it gives the hyperscalers a chance to build this really important infrastructure at a lower cost scale when they're doing it internally. And so that's the pressure point. As I said, there are a lot of other little points, and I just want to put a spotlight over on one shiny little point to wrap us up. This doesn't hit the threshold for pressure points, but is worth mentioning. At the end of the keynote, Satya mentioned this integration between AI and effectively the metaverse, or AI and spatial computing. And he showed a teaser video about what looked like HoloLens essentially in a technical industrial work environment. Imagine somebody working on like jet engines, things like that, wearing these glasses and asking Copilot for advice as you're going along. HoloLens came out in the developer kit in 2016. It hasn't really gone anywhere, but what Satya was saying is that AI really powers spatial computing effectively. And of course, this is Apple's vision too. So the other shiny piece, not for this pressure point episode, but I think we're going to see a showdown here coming up between Microsoft and Apple around these spatial computing devices. Obviously, Meta's in there too with everything they're doing with Reality Labs, but it's going to start to get more, there's going to be more substance behind this. And I think the concept and the utility of spatial computing is elevated after today's event. And I think you're going to hear more about this from other big companies trying to really use AI in a new way related to spatial computing. So that was the shiny thing on the side. And that's a wrap for this episode of Pressure Points. Bye for now.